such a time as this.
And welcome to Roundtable for such a time as this. The Maui fires. Excuse me. If you can, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube and Rumble. Let us know we're coming through loud and clear. The Maui fires. I must admit to you, I'm going to have to follow Vicki on this one. Vicki, take it away.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. So I did some digging into the horrific Maui wildfire that started on August 8th. So far, we know 115 are confirmed dead, and there's been an estimated $5 billion in damage, and an estimated 2,100 acres of land has been burned. The governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, said this is the largest catastrophe and disaster that's ever hit Maui, probably that's ever hit Hawaii outside of wartime events. We have our first video here. Officials are facing increased scrutiny for the emergency response, including why the emergency sirens were not set off and whether closing the roads prevented people from getting to safety. So there's just a lot of different angles to this that we're going to talk about tonight. There's a lot of unanswered questions on how things were handled or mishandled, as the case may be. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the fires, but I think everybody's going to learn something new tonight. And here is our first video.
And before we go to the first video, thank you, Sing the Scriptures Music, for giving us a thumbs up that we're coming through loud and clear. All right, here we go with the first video.
There are more than 1,000 federal personnel responding to the crisis, including nearly 450 search and rescue experts.
Good boy.
Like canine search specialist Christy Borman.
What we are seeing is that structures have been burned completely. And so we're talking about ash and we're talking about metal.
According to the latest report from the Maui County Mayor's office, at least 115 people are confirmed dead. 850 more are listed as missing.
We are hurting because so many have lost so much.
This morning, Maui County Mayor Richard Bisson is facing new scrutiny over his response to the fire, in part because of this appearance on local news station KITV as the fire was raging.
I'm happy to report that the road is open to and from Lahaina.
In the interview just after 6 p.m. that night, Bisson touted reopened roads in Lahaina.
Oh my God, I can't see anything. We're surrounded by fire.
Seemingly unaware that many residents were either caught in or narrowly escaping the flames.
Oh my God, I've never been so scared in my life.
And it would take several hours for most firefighters to be able to access that town. We did speak, or reach out at least, to the governor's office and the mayor's office. We have not heard back. Meanwhile, the governor has said this fire burned so hot it may be impossible to locate all of the missing, Anne-Marie.
So it just was horrific, just horrific on so many levels. And they said in there that 850 are missing. Well, that number keeps changing. Now it's back up. It was 2,000, then it went to 1,200, then down to 850, and now today it's back up to 1,100 missing.
Why is this captured such a large, speculation? Why is this fire different than others? We're going to get into that.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So one of the problems is the response or the lack thereof. This one Maui hotel manager says, "We ran out of everything. Many waited days in the dark, without power and water for help to arrive after the worst of the fire subsided and before taking matters into their own hands." She said she tried to escape. When she arrived at one blocked road, she said she was surprised to see volunteers with supplies were not being allowed into the disaster zone. This was after the fire. So why is that happening? Why are people with supplies not being allowed into the disaster zone? And then...
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. She said that her ordeal started when she lost cell, and we're going to go through the timeline. Her particular ordeal started when she lost cell reception on Tuesday. And then seeing smoke in every direction, she drove into Lahaina to find her son, unaware of the danger. She said she didn't know that she was heading into a firestorm until she saw big black mushroom clouds of smoke piling on top of each other and growing bigger. She didn't receive an evacuation alert like others. And you guys remember years ago when there was that, like, they received a fake alert on their phones that there was like some incoming missile coming into Hawaii? Do you remember that?
I remember that.
So, yeah, they could send out fake alerts, but why there was no alert for this, letting people know of the danger. So fearing she wouldn't make it out of Lahaina alive, she escaped the flames and returned to the hotel, where hundreds were stranded with no power and limited supplies. She said there was a point to where we could only provide food for the children. She said no assistance came for 2 days.
What?
Yeah,
What are the theories? What is Alex Jones saying about this?
I don't know. That I did not dig into. I didn't ask it. But she said there's an airport right up the road. It wasn't being used. There was an ocean 20 feet from the lobby. There was nothing coming from, no boats coming with anything to help. Yeah, so the response has been very questionable. So let's talk a little bit about the timeline. So on Monday, August 7th, is when Maui was facing very high winds. The National Weather Service recorded incredibly high wind gusts across Hawaii, and some regions would go on to face gusts up to 67 miles per hour throughout the week. So that certainly added to the crisis. And then right after midnight on Tuesday, August 8th, is when brush fire was reported in the central part of Maui, and this would become what they called the upcountry Maui wildfire. And then throughout the day, things just got worse and worse. By 3 p.m., an afternoon flare-up of the Lahaina fire forces the closure of the Lahaina bypass, and throughout the town, residents are trying to make their escape. And then by 5 p.m., the situation is just getting more dire, and the next hour becomes just life and death decisions for people who remained in Lahaina. There's you could see videos of people abandoning their cars, jumping into the ocean or pools to save their lives. And this I didn't know till I dug into it today. They continued battling fires through August 13th. I didn't know it was that many days.
When did this start? The
8th. The 8th.
8th of August.
Yeah, the very early on the 8th, right after midnight. So, what caused it? They're saying a team of investigators from the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives has been dispatched to determine the exact origin and cause of the deadliest U.S. wildfire in a century. The cause of the fires has not been determined, but they broke out as the island faced strong winds, like we talked about, and low humidity. Hawaii was facing drought conditions and was in the midst of its dry season. And then there was Hurricane Dora, which was a factor several hundred miles away, brought especially strong winds. So the islands, which are sandwiched between high pressure to the north and a low pressure system associated with Dora's, it created just the perfect storm.
Does Alex Jones agree with that assessment?
I don't know.
Because there's some funny stuff that I heard, but okay. All right.
The winds strengthened by the hurricane knocked out power lines and contributed to the extreme spread of flames. They said this fire just moved incredibly fast.
My wife said at one point that fire was moving at 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
I find that hard to believe. How can a fire spread that fast?
Yeah, I did hear a mile a minute.
A mile a minute? Okay,
Yeah,
that's fast.
Yeah. So here is one of the things folks might not know, is that was supposed to be, the fire swept through Lahaina the very day that many students, including the high school and children at the elementary schools, it was supposed to be their first day of school. But classes were canceled due to the very high winds. So they believe that of these now 1,100 as of today, that's the number missing. A lot of these are children who were left home alone because it was an unscheduled day off, that their parents went to work, and that these speculation here, but that a lot of kids were home alone in their homes without their parents, not knowing what the heck to do. I can't think of anything more devastating.
So is that why you think they're hiding the numbers? And
Yep.
that would be a PR nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So these poor children.
What?
Yeah.
Thank you. Sing the Scriptures. Sing the Scriptures says, hello from Gavin Newsom's kingdom. I didn't realize you could sing the Scriptures in Gavin Newsom's kingdom, but okay, if you can still do that. But
So our second clip here is a FEMA chief trying to explain the missing people.
You say that we have to ask the Hawaii officials for the count, but you also say that you are working with them. I think it's hard for people to understand, there are potentially 1,000 people who have perished in this fire. How can we not know more about this many days out?
Yeah, again, we take all of our numbers from the local officials, and we are supporting them with our teams to help better understand. And I think the unaccounted piece is just making sure that we are accounting for everybody that was reported as missing. And it could be that they are staying with family and friends, and we haven't been able to contact them yet. There's a lot of different reasons on why people are unaccounted for.
I don't think she answered the question that well.
No. It just, it's not a big place. Why is it? I think they're just slow dripping the death toll here. They're hoping people, the longer it gets between the event and the number of dead, then there will be less uproar. But it's not that big of an area. It's been, August 23rd now. So to be this far out and still not know exactly how many people are
Vicki.
missing.
They know.
Or, yeah.
I think they know.
All right. So our wonderful leader, President Biden, you may have seen that he was on vacation, and when he was asked to provide a comment about the rising death toll, he said, "No comment." And then he finally, on this Monday, 2 days ago, he managed to end his I think he's back on. They said he's back on vacation now. He interrupted his vacation to finally make it to Hawaii. And what did he do when he got there? Made it all about himself. Here's our
I don't
video.
want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. And lightning struck at home on a little lake. It's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
Can you even imagine if somebody who wasn't of that particular political persuasion said that?
Yeah, he's lying.
That would be plastered over every news channel for days.
Yeah.
He's comparing children being burned alive in their homes to almost losing his car in a little kitchen fire that was put out in 20 minutes.
He may think it was a big fire, Vicki. The
one in his house, he may have forgotten because he doesn't remember things.
Yeah,
but still, to have zero empathy. The man has zero empathy.
He's lying. He's a liar, Vicki.
He's a narcissist.
He is. Everything is about him. But the truth be told, we knew who he was when he ran for president. Anybody who has.
Do you think they knew how bad he was? This bad?
You can go fast. That dementia stuff can go very, very fast. Very fast.
So you think he used to have empathy? And it's just the dementia?
No, he was always a liar.
Yeah.
He was always a liar.
Always a narcissist.
But he was better at it, though.
Yeah.
when he was younger.
Yeah. So he's back on vacation now.
Well, he's the perfect person because he could be easily manipulated.
Yeah.
I don't think he really knows what's going on right now.
But he goes off script. I mean, obviously those were not in his prepared remarks. I hope.
I hope not.
Oh, sickening! I can't imagine. I don't know how the people there who were standing behind him kept a straight face.
But you know the harsh reality in all of this. Hawaii, you voted for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You voted for the man.
It's true.
That's what you voted for.
So the other thing that's come up is the issue with the water. So there's a gentleman, the former deputy director of the Hawaii Commission on Water Resource Management, Kaleo Manuel. He waited for more than 5 hours to release water during the wildfires. And here he is in a live stream debate hosted by the University of Iowa last year. He describes water as a sacred god and that access to water should be predicated on conversations about equity.
This is the video?
Yeah.
The commission is responsible per our authorizing statute to protect and manage all water resources in the state. One Water is like taking it and looking at it from a holistic system perspective. And that's not any different than how Hawaiians traditionally managed water. You know, in essence, we treated Native Hawaiians treated water as one of the earthly manifestations of a god and a kua, kane. And so that reverence for a resource and that reciprocity in relationship was something that was really, really important to our worldview and well-being, right? And living in an island isolated from other, civilizations. And so I think where it shifted to today or over time is that we've become used to looking at water as like something which we use and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? I mean, to me, it's a shift in value set. And, if we can start to really look at how we as humans in an island can reconnect to that traditional value set. So really my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
They voted for him.
True conversations about equity.
Yeah. Yeah.
What exactly does he mean by that? If it was his house on fire and his baby's burning, what does that mean exactly?
Let's not sugarcoat it. The man you just saw is insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he is. Water's not something we use. It's something we can. No, we use it. He's insane. That man is insane.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend anything other.
Yeah. So, well deserved. He's been under scrutiny since. Like
what
I
is
said,
he again? What is he? What is he? Who is he?
He was the deputy director of the Hawaii Commission on Water Resource Management.
Water Resource Management.
Yeah, and from the Washington Free Beacon who reported on this.
Okay.
He's been under scrutiny since local media reported that he delayed releasing water to firefighters who are battling the wildfires. The West Maui Land Company alleged in an August 10th letter to Manuel that his commission declined its request to divert streams to fill reservoirs until the wildfires worsened and caused significant devastation. According to the Honolulu Civil Beat, sources said Manuel was responsible for the delay. They said he asked the company to consult with a local farmer about the impacts of diverting water before he would approve the request. He only released the water 5 hours after the request was made. The New York Post wrote, "We watched the devastation around us without the ability to help," said the company in the letter. "We anxiously awaited the morning, knowing that we could have made more water available to the Maui Fire Department if our request had been immediately approved."
He needs to go to jail.
Yeah, well, he does. But in the meantime, he was transferred to another position within the Department of Land and Natural Resources on Wednesday.
He needs to be transferred to an insane asylum on a prison wing. And anybody who covers for the man should be liable also. The world has lost its mind.
I know.
What is a God? Is our God.
Right. It should, what did he say? It shouldn't divide us. Well, if people are burning to death, that might divide you and your neighbor if you're preventing water from being given.
Yeah, he's insane.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of insane people in the world.
Yeah. So another story I read about this. So the fires had started just after midnight on the 8th. So they had, I guess, been putting up some barricades, throughout the day or whatnot. And I read that those who disobeyed the barricaded road closures during the Maui fires survived the disaster, while many of those who heeded orders to turn around perished in their cars and homes with no way out,
Whoa.
according to the Associated Press.
They barricading people in?
Hold on.
Okay.
In the early hours of the Maui fires, there were more than 30 power poles downed alongside one of the highways at the south end of Lahaina, a historic town that was decimated. Officials closed the bypass road, blocking the only way out of Lahaina to the southern part of the island. Maui police chief said during a news conference that officers never stopped people from leaving the area, but the AP report suggests that residents were discouraged from disobeying the barricade. One family swerved around the barricade set up to escape the flames, while another resident took a dirt road uphill to climb above the fire. However, many others who stayed in the cars on that road were stuck in a gridlock, with fire surrounding them on most sides, with the ocean on the remaining side. Nate Baird and Courtney Stapleton recounted their experience to the outlet, saying they loaded the car up with their 2 sons, one of their moms, and 1 dog to escape the flames. When they turned south to escape Lahaina, they were met with cones and were told to turn around, which was to Lahaina, which was already burning. Instead of turning around, they swerved past the cones and escaped to a neighboring town. Nobody realized how little time we really had, Baird said. Like even us being from the heart of the fire, we did not comprehend. We literally had minutes, and one wrong turn, we would all be dead right now. Baird told the reporter that if they had 10 more minutes, they could have saved children who were left home alone in their neighborhood during the fires.
So there you go. That's first-hand account right there of someone who said they had kids.
The kids just don't have a filter. So their son ran up and was just telling our son, this kid is dead. This kid is dead.
Oh.
And it's like all my son's friends that come to our house every day. And their parents were at work. And they were home alone. And nobody had a warning. Nobody knew. So yeah, it's not speculation. You're right. It is a first-hand account, at least from this family. And we don't know how many kids of that missing number were kids home alone. But I bet it's going to be a lot if we ever find out. Kim Reyes said that she survived with her 2 sons by ignoring orders to turn right onto Front Street, which has now been devastated by the fires. Instead, she turned left and drove in the wrong lane to escape the town.
Wow.
The gridlock would have left us there when the firestorm came, 38-year-old Reyes told the AP. I would have had to tell my children to jump into the ocean and be boiled alive by the flames, or we would have just died from the smoke inhalation and roasted in the car. Sorry, this is kind of graphic.
No, that's what happened.
But yeah, these.
So what? Who did this? Who?
It
so
sounds like there's just
these
people were totally caught off guard. I'm still not.
But if people are
clear why these
Lahaina,
roads were barricaded.
Yeah. Why would you barricade them in? Well, I
guess there was destruction, so they were like, put the barricades up to keep people away from the destruction, right?
But they were fleeing the fires.
But then as remember that official we watched a few minutes ago, he said at 6 p.m., everything's fine. Everything's fine. And it wasn't fine. It wasn't fine at all. So he's come under a lot of scrutiny for It's like a lot of people are just either very incompetent. I hope it's just incompetence. Let's say that. I'm hoping for incompetence. That these people had to ignore what they were being told by the local officials to
Vicki,
save their lives.
This wasn't just one road, seems like, that told them to stand. It seemed like this was several ways that they were all barricaded. Now listen, if it's at the point to where people are fleeing, the flames have to be visible, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Smoke has to be visible.
I saw that lady driving.
Yeah.
She sees flames all over.
That has to be visible.
Right.
Why on earth are you telling people to stay in when the flames are visible? That something ain't adding up, Vicki.
I don't get it either.
Right? I mean,
I think there's a lot we still don't know.
If these flames were moving so fast, how did they have time to put all these barricades up?
Well, I think
the barricades are up already.
Yeah. I think maybe, I'm not sure either, if like it was contained in a certain area, so they put the barricades up and then it came back.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
But when you have gridlock, they're saying, and families ignoring you and swerving around, the flames at that point have to be visible. Then why in the heck am I telling you to go back?
Yeah, again, I think it's incompetence at the best.
Or
Why
you fill in the blanks.
Yeah, or let me fill in the blanks. Somebody was killing them people by turning them back and go to Lahaina, and something's not adding up. Something doesn't sound right.
There's a lot of unanswered questions about what's going on, how this could have happened in the year 2023. It's just hard to wrap your head around how unprepared they seem to be and incompetent, and that way more people have died than needed to.
Then why are they covering it up? Why do these numbers keep changing?
You're going to cover it up.
Well, I've heard some information, maybe you have more, that there are certain people who want that property. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah.
And it's interesting that all the history is destroyed. I heard someone on the news, he said his family, all their history is gone. It's gone. Yeah.
And I did see something where there's some very aggressive real estate developers, approaching people who are mourning, possibly the loss of family members, and approaching them saying, "Can we buy your land?"
Well, I heard some people were there prior to this fire. That I won't say a name because we might get us all in trouble, but a very well known person from the United States was interested with some other people in that area prior to this fire.
Is she black?
Yes, Pastor. As long as you said that, yes, sir.
Okay.
Did she once have a talk show?
There's also, it's like, why did some of the big, beautiful mansions not burn? I don't know. But they do have underground sprinklers probably at those and they probably had their own water, source, so they could keep their house. And I think that is a way to save your house, right? Is to keep it wet and it's not going to burn.
But fires to that level, doesn't seem like it was. Now, again, I've heard pure speculation that the fires, there was some protection for some people for the fires, and that the fires didn't touch properties that were in the direct path. And so some actually got protection while others didn't. Did you hear that? Did you hear that in your research at all, Vicki? Is that true? I heard it.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I didn't dig into that area too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is another area.
Yeah. Oh,
Lots of questions.
And didn't you say it was some kind of special day where a lot of these children were home alone?
Well, it was supposed to be the first day of school, but they canceled school because of the high winds, which they probably would have been safer at school.
Yeah.
At least there would have been adults to evacuate them instead of each of them being alone, possibly alone in their homes.
So this commissioner, whoever he is, probably knew those children are there, and he's withholding the water. And he should spend the rest of his life in jail.
It doesn't matter who was there for him to withhold water when towns are burning.
Yeah.
The water god, or whatever the water's our god, and relate to it and not use it. He's insane. That man's insane.
Yeah, so this really teaches us, that just because an official-looking person, is telling you to turn right,
Yep.
you as a parent, you've got to use your own gut instinct, your own knowledge, your own common sense to save. No one's going to save you. You got to look out for yourself and your own children.
Did people die in the cars waiting to get out? That's what it said? Like it's gridlock.
Well, you said something in there that they were burning in their cars.
Yeah.
They were
my.
They were trapped. They were trapped, and then they burned to death in their cars.
Oh my.
We hear that one clip where that lady's panicking. She's surrounded by flames
Right.
In her car. She's panicking.
Right. So, yeah, it's unimaginable what these folks went through. It really, really is. We really need to pray for these people.
Yeah.
So let's talk about FEMA. We did see that one FEMA official try and answer the question about the number missing. What came out from the Daily Mail, they uncovered that FEMA officials have been slammed by Maui locals for their slow response to the devastating wildfires, and they uncovered that they are staying at 5-star hotels.
FEMA?
The FEMA folks.
Oh, what lovely.
And federal government rates for this week at all 3 resorts start at $1,000 a night.
And that's where FEMA's staying?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yep. And there's an article here, like I said, from the Daily Mail.
That's beautiful.
$1,000 a night luxury hotels.
That's where FEMA's staying.
And there's pictures in here of them, FEMA officials drinking at the cocktail bar at the Grand Wailea Hotel.
Well, the other parts burn or burnt or.
So, if folks still trust the government after everything we've seen, including including this just a couple weeks ago, if you still trust the government to protect you, I don't know what to tell you.
Hawaii is deep dark blue. Very liberal, very democratic.
And and the Washington Free Beacon, there's going to be something else coming out tomorrow, more about FEMA. So if you're not signed up for our emails yet, we will include a link to this in our Saturday email. So be sure to sign up for our emails for such a time as this. Today. There's going to be a really good article coming out tomorrow, more about FEMA and the Hawaii fires.
Was there any thought about how these fires started?
Well, they were in a drought. We know that. And they talk about the power lines. Hold on, let me go back to the timeline really quick.
That was a question, another speculation I saw on the internet.
What was it?
How they started. They said it was very questionable how they started.
How they started.
Some speculated it was human origin.
Okay. Yeah, let me find that timeline again. Because there was something that happened the night before.
Someone
Here
come.
it is. Sorry, guys. Here we go.
Incredibly high.
So on, right before 11 p.m. on Monday, August 7th, they said a security camera at the Maui Bird Conservation Center, located in the East Maui region of Upcountry, captured a bright flash in the woods just before 11 p.m. This is from ABC News. It's windy and then there's a flash, and I think that's when a tree is falling on a power line, says Jennifer Pribble, Senior Research Coordinator at the Conservation Center. The power goes out, our generator kicks on, the camera comes back online, and then the forest is on fire. And then right after midnight on the 8th is when a brush fire is reported. So
What
that's what...
What a coincidence. In the midst of a drought, a tree falls on a power line.
Yeah.
Boy, that is just some terrible timing. That's just terrible.
Yeah. And I did also see, there was a fire years ago, and they warned, that this could happen again and be much worse, and nothing was done to take precautions or anything.
Well,
so
yeah,
that's a little bit about the fires. Like I said, we need to pray for these poor folks. Yeah. So many people, I think, have lost children, and the mainstream media is just not reporting on this.
Why do you think so? Politics?
I hate to say that it would be, to
Politics.
protect those in charge.
The Democratic officials in Hawaii.
And our fearless leader in the White House.
How would Biden be responsible for that? You think he started it in the woods?
No. Just
I wouldn't put it past him.
No,
but
just the lack of
response.
Yeah, the poor response.
Well, we know that obviously. Yeah.
And
well.
And just not telling us all that's going on. How do we trust our media?
Yeah, but we don't.
I mean, if you're trusting the mainstream media and not doing, your own research.
Yeah. No.
But I mean, we have of course, unfortunately, we have a very politically biased mainstream media.
Sure.
And if it got out there, if it was actually plastered on the news that there are over 1,000 people still missing 2 weeks later.
The fires are out, right?
I don't think, while Biden's laying on a beach on vacation. Yeah, the fires are out. Yeah, they battled them till the 13th.
Okay.
It was 10 days ago. You know, and Biden's going on vacation. People for days went without supplies. I mean, this is horrific. And, of course, they're protecting him. They're protecting... Oh, it's sad.
It is. It most definitely is. Well.
So, here's the other thing I found. In August of 2018, there was a fire in the West Maui community, uphill from Lahaina. And... this family, they barely got out. No one died, but if the winds had been stronger that day, officials said the ultimate toll could have been far worse. The West Maui fires in 2018 torched 21 houses, 27 cars, and more than 2,100 acres, causing $43 million in damage. It was the most destructive wildfire in state history, of course, until now. And they say 5 years apart, the two disasters parallel one another very eerily. Both times in August, hurricane-fueled winds pounded West Maui. Both times they helped to ignite what would become multiple fires in overgrown, drought-stricken hills.
Okay, so this is not out of the realm.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
Okay, so it was, okay.
The first time, the lack of warnings and chaotic evacuations spurred residents to question their leader's response, preparation, and transparency. And now the second time, the same problems repeated themselves. So.
Okay. Well, interesting. Your government at work again.
Yeah.
Pray for them.
Yes,
anything else?
Definitely. That's all I had.
That's all you had. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, everybody. We'll try and have something not such a downer next time.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.